Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. This one is titled Potion Notions. Yee. It's it's cool because it rhymes. That's the extent of my name title creativity.
It
Um,
rhymes and it's fun to say.
it is. I am Yuni, resident creator of Toonkind and also player of sweet old grandpa Zan. Um, and I am joined by a lovely, wonderful, fabulous friend.
Hello, my name is Fable, and today I am playing the the uh the stinky old skeleton man, the antlered king, or
it's
antler as he's referred to
it's funny
nowadays.
because it's true.
I mean, he doesn't stink as much as you'd think.
Not as much as you'd think, but never forget that he does stink.
He does. He does. If not physically, then definitely emotionally.
Oh yeah, he probably doesn't stink physically as much as you'd think because
No,
for an undead dude, I imagine he at least keeps himself presentable.
no, yeah, you'd be surprised. He actually cleans himself up. He uses soap, so you know.
Wow,
Yeah, I
wow.
know.
Anyway, for those of you who haven't listened to uh what oh god, I'm blanking on your choose your royal charming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
um yeah, that who's your royal charming is sort of the preface for this one. So they both Zan and Antler got wacky happenstanced into working together on a potentially very potent and powerful potion in order to fulfill their own individual goals. And Antler, you have been you gave Zan the option to bring the cauldron that was gifted to the two of you to Zan's place because you've got enough with you got enough cauldrons going on in Ruindal.
Yeah, yeah, he's listen. Uh yeah, he's got enough cauldrons
hmm
back home. Got enough cauldrons on his hands.
But as a result, that means now that you are ready to visit and begin the process, you have to travel all the way down to Cinema in Luthab. How did you get there?
Well, luckily Ruindal's right next to a riverside uh a riverside town little corner, which is a river connect to the ocean. So he just caught a boat. He caught a boat that went down to cinema and was able to get there pretty uh pretty fast. Fast or easy. Wasn't difficult. Getting there was not the difficult part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you know, you and Zan have probably, I don't know, maybe done ascending back and forth just to organize time, and Zan gave you directions to get to his place. When you arrived in cinema, you know, you have cultivated a particular energy about you. um People tended to give you a pretty wide berth, but it is approximately a 2-hour hike out of cinema to Zan's home in the woods. um I'm just gonna go ahead and why don't you roll a constitution check to see how you're
Yeah.
doing.
If you weren't gonna tell me to do it, I was already gonna be like, I should roll Constitution, because
mm,
for people in the audience, Antler's he's a skeleton. He's old. And his Constitution's not great. I'm literally rolling a straight D20. Let's see how it is.
oh,
16.
you're you know what, you're doing fine. um yeah,
I
it's
I think I think I think it helps the fact that like his presence has made people avoid him, which means they fear him. and he takes some comfort, if not joy, in that, and that has given him the energy to make the trek up to this house.
He is powered by the, knowing that people are giving him the side eye.
He's a villain Toon who is naturally powered by fear.
Absolutely. Um, so as you're pretty sure that you've gotten somewhat close, and it also helps that the path is, it is a hike, but it is not an unclear path. Clearly, people have gone down this way. And finally, you reach a point where the woods come to a clearing where there are what appear to be several sort of dome rooms woven from branches up in the trees. And according to Zan's description, you have arrived.
Antler takes a good look at the place, and actually he pulls out from his robe because he made sure to write the directions and the description of the place down, just as a just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Mm-hmm.
he's double checking what he wrote down, looks at the place and like, okay, yeah, this looks to be it. And then he will continue forward and I guess look for what would appear to be the front door,
Uh, uh, you
unless there's a gate.
you only get a couple of steps in before someone yells "Stop!" Um, and a big uh grumpy looking boar comes up to you. You can see them stomping their way up the hill and sort of glowering at you.
Oh joy. How big is this boar? Because Antler is a pretty he's a pretty tall tune.
Certainly not as tall as Antler. They're pretty. They're more broad than they are tall. But uh, they probably come up to like Antler's chest.
All right, Antler doesn't seem particularly phased that this tune is stomping towards him, but he does arch an eyebrow at at this approaching tune and goes, "Yes, can I help you?"
You are not allowed on these premises. I need you to leave.
Is that so? I am looking. Hmm. And who would you be?
I am guarding these premises. You need to leave.
And why do I need to leave?
There, pause. Because you're not allowed here. Make a
And
perception check.
okay, okay. Perception. Where's my
Or I
perception?
guess insight, probably.
I can do that. It's the same modifier, so
Yeah.
plus five. 20. Dirty
Dirty
20.
20, dirty 20. As you're, giving this tune who seems to not be aware of just how scary you are for some reason. um and as you're looking, you are seeing there's a sort of glazed look in their eye that indicates that they're under some sort of enchantment.
Hmm. Antler holds up the written instructions that he has and goes, I am here to see a wizard by the name of Zan Adu. Is this the right address or not? If it isn't, I will be on my way. But if it is, I do have an appointment with him.
He does not own this place. He does not get to decide who is let in. You need to leave.
Then who does decide? And I will speak with them.
Master does not accept unannounced visitors. And at this point, you can uh, hear someone else going, "Oh Jesus! Sorry, he's just, and, there's a sort of lanky wolf who, is running towards you and then very quickly stops as they get a look at you and goes, uh, who are you?
I don't suppose a Xanadu lives here.
Who wants to know?
I believe we had made plans for me to come visit for today. I am the Antlered King.
I'm gonna go ahead and hold on. Okay. Um, he crosses his arms and you could tell he has very quickly gone from sort of apologetic to extremely on edge. um, and he is looking at you with extreme suspicion and goes, "Well, I don't think you'll find him here. So you should get moving."
Hmm, I see. I'm trying to think of what to do here. Give me a second.
I will actually hold on. Let me just make a couple of quick checks. Beep. Boy, they are not rolling great. Wow, wow.
Yeah,
um,
I've got. I
uh,
don't know what those checks were.
it's perception checks for various other individuals who might be nearby. Um, uh,
Oh.
you notice in the distance there's like one little figure who is sort of peeking out from behind one of the trees that is like holding up a building and sort of looking at the whole situation. And as soon as you notice them, they sort of duck back away. um
Listen, I do not believe I know your name.
no, you don't.
Hmm. I am not going to I am not going to pretend that I appear friendly or very much welcomed at all. Hmm. But nonetheless, I am expected by Xanadu, and if he does live here, I've already gone quite a long way to get here. And ask yourself something. If, say, I were here to cause trouble, is it really a smart idea for a lone stranger to come up to the front door of a rather renowned, or not renowned, but a powerful wizard, as I am understanding, with apparent gods? And he gestures back to the board behind him.
The boar is still um just sort of glowering, and every time like you make a gesture he sort of like puffs up again to in case you are going to barrel your way in, which clearly you are not.
He's a
um
bag of bones, and actually, that's a dirty 20. When the boar glowers at Antler, Antler's eyes grow green, flash green for a second as he glowers back in intimidation. That was an intimidation roll.
hmm hmm Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. uh he the most reaction you get out of the boar is just him sort of blinking at you. Um, Whatever enchantment on him seems to have him pretty steely.
Hmm,
um,
quite curious.
and the wolf just at this point he's doing a little bit of like curling the lip, showing the teeth because it is immediately clear he doesn't like you. He goes, well, if you've got a message, you can pass it along. I'm sure he'll be real sorry he missed you. But it's like the big man says. They're not accepting visitors. So sorry. Um, and I will at this point. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Um, in the distance, you hear, oh God. Hello, I'm so sorry. You were earlier than I expected. I should have. Oh goodness. And you look up and see Zan is coming out from one of the tree houses. There's the smaller tune you noticed a minute ago. It's a little porcupine who is standing next to him as he sort of quickly uh comes down the like little branch staircase that has folded out. Goes, oh goodness, I am so sorry about them. I thought I gave enough work. Rally, what are you?
Oh no. Oh no, no need to be concerned. Actually, we were having quite an enlightening conversation. And he again, Antler glances back at the boar with a bit of a curious look.
Yes, I'm very certain. Um, and Zan blinks for a moment and goes, Rally, what? I didn't. Rally, you're not on duty, are you? Because no, I'm not. Hey, Zan, who's this clown? um,
Ah, ah. Antler actually, there's a dry laugh at that. Clown, that is a new one. I'll be sure to tuck that away. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Um, and Rally comes moves over to Zan, and there is some like hushed and intense whispering between them. I don't know if you want to like do a perception check to see if you could hear. Um,
Yeah, I'll do perception. Another dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, you could definitely hear sort of make out uh Zan's being like trying to be quiet, but the wolf tune, he is doing a little bit of stage whispering, perhaps unintentionally. Just like I don't look after what happened, you can't blame me for being no, I look, I care about you, okay? And I don't want to see you making the same mistakes again. I, I'm not leaving you alone with him, okay? We're not. I'm not taking that. And after a moment, Zed just sort of puts his hand on Wolf Rally's shoulder and takes a step back and goes, Antler, there is a lot of work to do, but my friends here would like to observe what we're doing, if you do not mind.
Hmm. Gonna roll insight real quick.
16.
16.
Um,
Antler's kind of putting together what he's seen thus far in that little conversation. He's kind of piecing that. He's forming a bit of a picture in his head at the moment to understand.
Yeah. You're putting some pieces together. You're figuring. Uh, you're getting details, and you also know that Zan agreed to all this for a reason. And you can tell he is. Are you more trying to get insight on Zan or on the wolf?
Um, bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, you can draw the conclusion that the wolf is extremely suspicious of you because something happened in the past, and Zan is choosing to trust you because something happened in the past that happened to these people, but also he is very aware that it's important to be cautious because something happened in the past. And you
No, no,
can
yeah.
you can definitely start, drawing those conclusions from what has been laid out in front of you in these last few minutes.
Yeah, and I think with that in mind, Antler will sigh and wave his hand unwor uh semi-casually and go, well, seeing as it's quite obvious I'm not the first unfriendly face you and your friends, I would assume, have had to deal with. I suppose I can tolerate an audience, so long as they don't get in the way.
And Raleigh gives a snort and goes, "Oh, I wouldn't dream of it." And then sort of claps his hands together and gives a sort of strained smile. He goes, "Wonderful. Come along. I'll show you the workspace. I've got some things. You made wonderful time here. I am surprised. Come on." Um, and he will lead you up to the little tree houses.
I think Antler will give the boar and Raleigh one last look before turning and following after Zan.
And Rally is right behind you.
Oh joy. Of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Um, and as you make it in, like, up to the first platform, you see a lovely garden that has been sort of laid out above the ground. You can see uh mostly sides of homegrown vegetables and things, but also a couple flower beds. There is uh two other wolves that are sort of dozing there, and as soon as you come up they sort of start and stare, and um g- one of them goes, "Whoa, tall, dark, and creepy. You who's your friend, Zan?" um And he goes, uh, "Lenore, Antler, Lenore. Um, what? Sorry. What? Remind me what your name today is." And the other wolf sort of is staring very intently at you, Antler. He goes, "Today I'm Amy." He goes, "Amy, Amy. This is Antler. Antler. This is Amy for today. Um, we're
Antler meets all their both of their gazes equally and unflinching.
um, and uh, Antler goes, not Antler, blah, names. Zan goes, "Antler here is helping me on the research, the big research. We, I think he's very experienced." And the taller wolf sort of snorts and goes, "Yeah, no kidding. I can smell the experience on him." um, and then gives a another strained smile and starts leading the way up. Raleigh again is not not like letting up at all. He is like a breadth of maybe 5 steps behind you.
I imagine Antler is like feeling like if he didn't have the hood on, he'd be feeling that breath on the back of his neck.
Mm-hmm.
I think as they're walking, Antler's probably again he's not reacting to Raleigh. He's honestly uh this to say that this is a kind of greeting that Antler is unfamiliar with would be a lie. Uh, uh,
Fair enough.
if anything, he is he's taken a good look at the place with some vague interests, I guess. Mostly out of curiosity as to the home of a powerful wizard. But he has now turned his attention to said wizard with some curiosity and goes, "Oh, I spaced for a second. Hold on, I need a drink real quick." I don't know why. I've got jitters at the moment.
Oh.
Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, he goes, you, you've made quite an effort to be, mm, more gracious than your friends have been.
Well, um, I I know that I need your help. And if you are able to get things done, um, I I've been working very hard on my own, and if we can make this work, I will do what it takes. And again, behind you, he just sort of lets out a growl of like, not whatever it takes, boss. And goes, not, don't call me that. Sorry. And Zan just there's you can guess a lot has happened. Um I'm glad you came all this way. I want this to work.
Mm. I will not lie to you, Mr. Adu. I am rather curious about the state I have seen your companions in. But I will also be quite honest. I am here for my own benefit, and I will only be here for as long as it benefits myself. So let us see what you have so far, and I will not be here any longer than I need to be.
Very well. This way, and he will lead you over the sort of branch bridge to the second room, where he has set up his study. Inside there is another boar who is been evidently laying out a lot of the uh, tools and so forth for preparation of ingredients. She is maybe a little bit doing some fiddling with, I don't know, Bunsen burners or whatever. Magic, science, whatever. You've been in a chemistry class. It looks like that, but like cool and steampunky.
Oh, steampunky, that sounds awesome.
Hell yeah. Um, and uh, she, of course, looks up as you come in. And of course, there is yet again the reaction of, whoa. um, And she goes, "Oh, wow. Uh, you did, huh? Hey, Zan, you did not tell me he looked like that." And they went, "Yes. Oh, but and
Hitler's not gonna wait for them to continue the conversation. He's just gonna turn to Zan and be like, "So, where shall we start?"
well, he sort of brushes out the a few sort of scrolls of log ingredients. He goes, "All right. The elixir we're hoping to make. Uh, I found three different bases to potentially work with. Um, I had been originally working from an angle of uh and you could tell he's just like he's frazzled. He just in general is really anxious because I don't know, everyone is kind of giving him shit about it and he's giving himself shit about it, and this all feels like a terrible idea, but also
How
it,
many aside from Antler, how many of the Not Toons are in the room?
right now it is Rally and the boar who you have picked up. Her name is Mary.
Okay. Where's the magic cauldron?
He has set it in a somewhat clear space next to one of the like workbenches that he has. There are two different workbenches just for like space to prepare all the ingredients and so forth and lay things out. The bookcases are on the far end of the room because you keep those away from where there's going to be fire happening.
Of course.
um,
Okay, I think Antler's first move is he's actually gonna he's gonna go over to the cauldron, take a look at it for a moment, and actually he's gonna take his staff that he's been using as a walking stick, and he's actually gonna give it a good couple of taps with it. Wait for a moment. Wait for a moment. And seeing as it doesn't do anything, he seems satisfied with that. And then he moves. And then he moves on to take a look at the ingredients. Uh, takes a look at each one, thinking. Looks back at. Probably takes himself back to the scrolls that Zan is over. I assume Zan is actually still talking as Antlers
oh yeah,
becoming familiar with the space.
he's been sort of going off on the research he's done so far. You get the feeling like potion work is not his usual wheelhouse. He is not inexperienced, but it is not where he has spent the majority of his focus. So he is sort of like going off on uh just like every single thing he's looked into without a whole lot of like narrowing in on what the first step needs to be, kind of.
Okay. I think has Raleigh still been falling very close behind Antler?
uh Now that you are in the room, he is more sort of uh hanging back, but like his eyes are like following you everywhere you go. He is
Yeah.
yeah, very intensely watching. Mary less so. She's been more sort of uh laying out roots, various things, and after a little bit she just sort of like goes over to Zan, gives him a sort of little pat on his arm. She goes, "Hey, hey, hey, bud. Hey, you want to breathe?" He goes, "Eventually, I think. Thank you." um, Antler. What? Um, I'm sorry. We didn't get to discuss a whole lot in detail last time when we first discussed this. Um, please tell me more about any expertise you have in this area. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm.
Well, we are dealing, as it was explained to us by that abstract, the cauldron itself will do most of the work. We simply need to put a potion in it and see what happens. It's a magical cauldron after all.
Sure. Um, how about this? What if to start things off, we want to make sure that things are going to go properly. So, in we
As
we'll
Zan
figure this
starts
out.
talking, Antler pulls out a pair of gloves from his hammer space and starts putting it just starts calmly putting them on. Zan seems to just be Antler's not really interested in chit chat at the moment. He's kind of interested in just getting this started. So he's gonna take a look at the scrolls, uh, see what's what, see what potion Zan has in mind, and then he's gonna go to the ingredients table, pick out the first ingredient, and start prepping it to put in the cauldron.
Understandable. Um, and Zeph finally goes, "Oh, yes, of course, right. Just kidding. Sure. Let me." And he uh goes like awkwardly picks up um something, looks at the thing, goes, "Oh no, that's a step for later. This is okay." Puts it back down. Um
Are you
instead
always this nervous when making potions?
um no, not specifically. Um it's as I mentioned. There's just a lot happening right now. Um mm,
It won't do for myself or you to make any mistakes here.
yes, that's a little bit the problem. I'm sorry. I will.
I
And
do not require your apology, merely your focus.
right, right, of course. And he goes to the cauldron and gives a sort of flick of the figures, and um a little sort of like magical fire pops up underneath that um you do not sort of, it doesn't seem to be burning any of the sort of space around it, but he has begun heating up the pot, preheating. Oh boy.
That's always fun. That's always fun. Uh, and yeah, Antler's gonna busy himself with prepping ingredients and cutting up what needs to cut up. Anything he can basically do with his hands. And actually, I'm gonna ask you for Zan to make either I guess perception or insight.
Okay. 11.
11. That's not a lot.
No.
I get well. No, the 11 I think would make sense just because Zan's been a bit frazzled. But I'll give you this. Zan, maybe this is the first time you've noticed since Antlers come here, but when you first met him, his face was always shrouded by the darkness of his hood. There's no darkness now, so his skeletal face is clear as day,
Hmm.
and it has been since he got there.
Um, Zin he does take note of this, and it is interesting. But again, he doesn't know Antler well enough to sort of draw any particular conclusions, nor does he feel comfortable enough asking. um,
That's fair.
but so he will be sort of busying himself. He is doing a lot of um he is checking the instructions multiple times before he does any particular step of either sort of like extracting pulp from potent from like a potent fruit or doing the chopping of any particular roots. He just every single step he goes back and like triple checks that he's doing the right thing in the right order. And as you guys start getting underway, again, Raleigh is staring and he is very, very intensely watching. But like the other Not Toons that start coming in and out and just sort of like peeking in interested. Um, and the smaller wolf that was Amy comes in and starts getting kind of weirdly close as she's staring at you, Antler.
And wait, I'm sorry, Amy, which one was this? This was the.
That's the smaller wolf who didn't say much.
How. Is she trying to be sneaky, or is she, like, legit just walking up to him?
She like started off sort of far away, but she's just been sort of creeping in closer and closer.
I. I'm gonna roll perception to see how quickly Antler has noticed this. I was gonna say this is not the first time Antler's had a small person creep up on him while he has been working.
That's a
It's a
nat
nat
20.
He notices immediately.
Yeah.
He is aware of it immediately, but he ignores. But as he's been ignoring the rest of the Not Toons, he's been ignoring this one just as much. It's probably not until the little one's probably within 5 feet of him that he'll finally just uh turn his head and finally acknowledge the Not Toon and just crook an eyebrow at them like, yes. Is there something you need?
And she looks up at you and goes, "How come you got skin on your hands but not on your face?"
I imagine it's a design choice.
Did you design it?
No, I did not.
Someone else designed you too?
Not in that. Not in the sense I imagine you're referring to. No. Some tunes simply change in ways they don't expect.
And she nods very, very solemnly, thinking it over. And she goes, "Are you gonna be mean to Zan?"
Well, I imagine if I was, I'd get immediately kicked out, which would not benefit me. So, no, I will not. Or at the very least, I will not do so purposefully.
Okay. Um, your name is Antler, right?
Antler is what people have been calling me nowadays, yes.
So it's not your name. What's your name?
My full name is the Antlered King.
What are you king of?
I, I was the king of Inkwell some 200 years ago, or a bit before then.
Oh.
T- Tell me, little one, have you come just to ask questions?
Um, yeah, but also, also, I came to make sure you're not gonna be mean to Zan. Because Zan is nice. You should be nice to him.
I will think on that. But for
Okay.
now, you'd best not be in foot traffic. What we are working on is important.
Okay. And she goes back and whispers something to Rally, who kind of rolls his eyes and doesn't say anything. And then she leaves.
Antler just crooks an eyebrow at that, and uh, I think when his work leads him to get close enough to Zan, he goes, "Curious company you keep, wizard. Very curious."
Yes. Um, we've been companions for some time now. They're good people.
I should have I should have the mind to ask you how your companions came about here.
It is a long story. And he sort of glances back at Rally and goes, I'm not entirely the one to tell it. Um,
I imagine it's personal, then.
it is personal, and much of it is not entirely clear.
Hmm. It's important to this, however. Yes?
Very much so.
Well, if I am to be of any help with this potion, I will. It would help to have some details. What can you tell me?
Um, and at this point, Rally will actually stand up straighter. He's been sort of leaning against the wall, and he goes, what we can tell you is that some old creep decided to use us. We took care of that creep. Mm, then he goes, some people took care of that creep. Um, the important thing is, it is an advanced blend of multiple types of magics that are affecting my friends. And I have been working hard to disentangle um, the various elements of the spell, but it is beyond. It has been largely beyond my capabilities to parse without risking hurting them.
Hmm. Andler seems to think about that for a minute. He looks at the recipe of the potion they're currently working on. And then he turns to look at Rowley and points at the wolf with his staff. You, wolf, step forward a moment.
He sort of puffs out his chest and goes, what?
Step forward. There's something I'm curious about.
He glares and goes, why don't you come here?
Very well. And Antler will start This doesn't seem to bother Antler that much, and he is putting up with this. He kind of doesn't have a choice but to put up with it. So he'll walk over and he'll actually and he actually won't just stop in front of Rowley. He'll actually walk around the wolf and put his free hand to his chin as he walks around and is basically studying Rowley at this point.
You could like see his fur is just like completely on end. Like his tail is like poofed up, and you can tell he is restraining himself from doing something impulsively, because despite his very obvious misgivings, he you're here to help Zan and supposedly to help them, so he's barely holding himself back.
Mm. I think he's Antler will walk fully around Rowley and then stop in front of the wolf and look him up and down, and then finally look at Rowley's eyes. How do Rowley's eyes look in comparison to the boar from outside?
Make an insight check.
All right, 10.
10.
God damn it.
From what you can tell, they look like clear eyes, attentive, glaring very intensely, not in the sort of um, you know, glazed like glaring of just being angry because that is the mode he's in.
Mm. I'm sorry. This is me, player Fable, trying to remember when Zan was explaining a little bit. Did he say transmorg? I can't think. I can't say the word out loud. I hate that word so much.
Transmogrification.
Yeah, did he say that?
I don't believe he specifically said that. Um, but roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. 24.
24. Yeah, that will do it. Between, looking at the types of potions that Zan has clearly put the most research into, the attitude of the Not Toons, the questions he's been getting, you could put together, yeah, there is definitely some physical transformation, as well as the weird mental stuff you picked up on from the boar. And as Zan said, there are multiple forms of magic at work here that are all sort of intertwined.
Mm. Intertwined, that would mean it's complicated. Antler's working it out. Antler, from what Rowley can see, Antler seems to be working it out in his head before he turns and goes to the bookcase, and he's going to raise a hand and run it over the different titles that he sees before he sees one that of interest and plucks it out from the bookshelf, flips through the pages, and stops on one when it goes, Tell me, Zan, how comfortable are you with mixing potions?
Um, Decently. um,
Hmm.
he sort of he's been focusing on the work. He has been, keeping an eye as you interact with Rally, because obviously, but he has been trying to keep himself busy with the work, and he's a little bit surprised by the question. He goes, decently comfortable. Um what are you doing?
Tell, Instead of answering, Antler goes back towards the scroll with the recipe and places the book beside it. It's a recipe for another potion. Uh, and Antler places it down and starts going to the ingredients. Tell me, the cat the caster of this magic, was he Smart or an imbecile?
And at this point, there is like a sort of cough of laughter from both Rally and Zan. They goes, uh, um, it depends. A little bit of both. He did have uh help making it happen.
Help as in an assistant, or help as in it wasn't his?
He modified an artifact of mine um to work the magic. Um, he
And this artifact would be.
it's involved and really goes, look, no, can't you just figure this out with your own stuff, okay? You don't need to keep prying into every detail of it, all right, buddy?
Uh, oh, quite the opposite. Tell, tell me, how do you cure a disease? How do you treat a poisonous bite? You just do you. It's not just a matter of sucking out the poison. That Are you familiar with the concept of antivenom?
He just sort of glares at you, and Zan again steps forward, and he's just, oh god, he's already very tired. Goes, Rally, please.
You wish for my help. I cannot help without all the pieces to this obvious puzzle you've seemed to have found yourselves in. If you wish me gone, the fastest way to get rid of me is to let me help with this.
Yeah, you'd like us to believe that, huh?
I don't I don't care what you believe, but I'm aware of what you want.
And Zen finally just takes a deep breath and goes up to Rally and says, Rally, please, and he just sort of whispers, and there's a bit of hushed arguing, um, and finally, Rally just sort of like he lets out a like genuine sort of just growl of frustration before crossing his arms very tightly. Um, and you could like his fur is still all like on end, but he has clearly backed down as Zen turns back to you, Antler. Goes, I had acquired a small amount of ink from the well of inspiration. Um, I had hoped to learn more about the nature of the land, the nature of its inhabitants, the nature of its magic. And he instead decided to fuse it into a wand to shape things as he saw fit. Um, the wand has since been damaged from his inexpert use of it and is no longer safe to use in the same way he did. So instead, potions.
Hmm.
And he sort of lets out like a very tense breath and goes, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful.
This wand. This wand. You still have it, yes?
And Antler gives a look.
Antler?
Sorry, Zan. I'm
It's
sorry. Xantler.
okay. Oh my
Fucking.
god, they
Ugh.
fused.
um, Zan, sort of bristles and he goes, Antler, please, I appreciate how far you've come to help, but I can't let you go any further with this line of questioning. I trust you understand.
Roll insight.
What's his plus on that? Okay. 19.
19. Okay. Zan, here's the thing. I mean, Antler's not super satisfied with that answer, but there is understanding there. There is understanding there, but it's very clear. But since there's no darkness over his hood to hide his expression, it's very clear that he's still. I mean, you've given him quite the puzzle to solve, because again, something this complicated. I mean, yeah, this complicated could need something more than just a souped up potion.
Yeah, now you're starting to get why Zan is so anxious about the whole thing. Um, and he um gives you a look and he sees that look of exasperated understanding that you've sort of got and nods and he goes back to working on the potion. um
I think Antler also goes back to working on the potion, and he's he's going at during the beginning of making the potion. He seemed to be of the mind to just get it done, but now that he has a bit more context, he's going a bit more methodically and definitely doing a lot more thinking and puzzling over the matter. He keeps looking back between the ingredients and the cauldron as he and Zan have both been slowly filling and mixing in ingredients.
um After a bit, Zan has uh gotten himself pretty just sort of in the zone of focusing on the work, but um I'll say what happens is like after a bit the boar that you originally saw who had the glazed look just kind of comes in. He goes, hey, sorry for earlier, dude. No hard feelings. I'm gonna go take a nap. And he waves at Zan and goes, Lenore's on duty. Okay. Yes, thank you, Niels. I think there is some sandwiches left over from lunch. He goes, oh hell yeah. Is it what kind is it? Is it still cucumber? Is, please tell me it's not cucumber. And he goes, I'm sure there's something besides cucumber left, Niels. And Boris goes off to the kitchen to grab whatever's left. And after a second,
Zan, you,
hmm,
Z-
hmm.
Zan hears the slight the when the boar went. Oh, please tell me it's not cucumber. Zan, you hear the slightest snort coming from Antler.
um, and as he retreats from the kitchen, and um, Zan looks up at you, and he like opens his mouth to say something, and then you hear in the background, "Oh, it's cucumbers!"
And Antler, there's another snort, and it kind of it devolves into to a couple chuckles. Oh no, cucumber, quite the worst vegetable to find. How will he ever recover?
And Zan goes, well, I make do with what we've got. Um, because he couldn't get enough salt because someone spilled all his groceries. No, salt sandwiches sounds like a really bad time. um, and Zan just sort of shakes his head and goes, Antler, would it be all right if I ask you something?
I suppose it would be more than appropriate, considering all that you have shared with me.
You, I know your ultimate goals. I, well, I won't beat around the bush. I do not approve, but it is not relevant right now. What I'm wondering, what is it that you are hoping this this cauldron will aid you in?
Antler pauses, what he was doing, and it almost seems like he's not going to answer after a few moments of silence, but eventually he goes, I'm hoping to find a loophole.
A loophole to
It is better. It would be part of the explanation would be easier to show. See, give me a wizard spell. Any will do.
um and he was I don't know, mage armor?
That will do. And Antler considers the space around him before taking a few steps back, making sure he's not close to anything and not close to the bookshelf. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he raises his hand, he raises his staff, and and puts and however one would cast mage armor. He goes to look as if he's about to cast it. You see the magic building up for a moment, and then it stutters, and suddenly Antler is leaning over. His eyes are suddenly glowing green, and he is coughing.
um and actually like takes a step towards him, and then pauses, and then uh goes and sort of leads down next to him and goes, oh, are you
I'm 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 fine. I'm fine.
um and he sort of hesitates, like he does that thing where it's like he kind of wants to reach out and check on you, but also he he doesn't think you're great with touching. um um
Antler focuses on steadying himself back and uses his staff to do so. The green glow uh is still in his eyes. Uh, roll roll Arcana.
All right. 17.
17. I can't remember if in whose. I can't remember if in the last game with Zan and Antler, if Zan saw Antler cast any magic.
Um, gosh, I don't remember if he did.
I can't remember either. But I'm gonna go ahead and say with the 17, with the green glow and the sputter of the green glow is definitely some kind of magic going on, obviously. Uh, and the magic that you saw of the mage armor that Antler was trying to cast, those were two very different kinds of magic.
Hmm. He goes, there's. Hmm.
I have a, as you would say, I have a rather, I have a rather interesting patron, as it were.
Huh. And you actually see like him just sort of like going from like concern and slipping into a sort of just like really just curious sort of leaning in to try and study that glow as it's still fading out. He goes, that's an hmm. And he actually stands up and goes to uh jot something down in his notebook. And patron, that huh. And I will make a quick history check for him.
Okay.
Another 17. Okay.
Nice.
Um, he goes, I had admittedly thought it curious. You, hmm, I had, previously thought it, not especially prudent to ask, but I found it quite curious. You know, given your nature, being back after a while is always, to be expected, but I had thought it curious after all this time, but if you had a patron, then, but they have gotten in the way of you. That is, and he is just like, he's not really saying it to you. He is just like getting halfway through thoughts and jotting more down, and, um,
Antler's watch watching this a few moments.
um,
He,
and
I feel like
after, sorry, go ahead.
no, I feel like Antler kind of like raises a hand like a few times as if to speak, but like each time Zan keeps going off on like a mini tangent.
Finally, after like a minute or two, he like comes back to just like realizing, oh, 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 he shuts his notebook. I'm sorry. Uh, um, that must be difficult. Um, oh, we've got our own very complicated situations, haven't we? Um,
I would not say mine is complicated, but just annoying.
yes, I can certainly imagine that. Um, hmm. And he again thinks for a moment and goes, well, you're, I confess I have not done a whole lot of, warlock work for the last few decades. Um, do you think you will be in trouble with your patron if they know you're working on this?
Oh, they've known. I've been working on this for quite some time. Quite frankly, I don't think quite anything phases it at this point.
Oh.
And this is a patron I don't think you'd be familiar with. I don't think it makes packs quite often.
Hmm. Can I just do a sidebar and be like, "Oh, I love your evil laugh."
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Oh God. Um, and Zen, his he sort of quirks his head to the side and then goes, "No, I suppose that is often the way of such beings." Um, well, then I am glad they are leaving you to do your work as you will.
Mm.
And
Antler glances at the ant glances at the cauldron again in the middle, and if he's close by it, he'll give it another tap, wait to see if it does anything, and seeing that it doesn't, goes back to looking at Zan.
should I make a roll to see if Zan puts anything together?
Yeah, go ahead.
God, I don't even know what this would be.
I get insight, maybe?
Sure.
Because I feel like you did a history check and you got a 17, so I feel like that would lend itself to the insight. 7.
7
Eh.
probably doesn't do it. But there are definitely like you can see the sort of gears turning in his head of just him being like, I don't know. He thinks that much in the way, Antler, that you are in have become intrigued by the complexity of his own situation. He definitely seems intrigued by whatever the heck you've got going on.
It makes no damn sense. Compels me, though.
Yeah, basically.
I think Antler watches watches Zan's expression for a few moments before I don't think maybe, and I don't know if Zan's looking or if I know Rowley's looking, so Rowley's gonna see it. But there's just there's just the slightest twinge to Antler's skeleton teeth that I don't know, almost looks like a slight grin before Antler decides to go back to working on the uh on the potion. Zan wishes to ask something he can, but otherwise Antler's gonna go back to working.
um and I think after I think Zan will take the hint that, Antler will not offer up any more information, and he will Zan needs some time to think on it, maybe come up with more questions. We'll see.
Yeah,
But he's definitely intrigued. And I don't know. I would say their next hour or so is mostly given way to like the two of you just idly sort of commenting to each other like how to prepare different ingredients, or saying like, oh, you need to increase the heat for a few minutes, etc. Little just focusing on the work. And finally, Zan puts something in and begins slowly mixing it and goes, "All right, I believe at this point, this is the best we can do. It needs to spend a fortnight simmering for
Mm.
maximum potency."
Well,
And
that is it then. We simply wait.
for now, that is what can be done. And
Hey,
hmm?
hey, Yuni,
Hey, yeah,
could you remind me how long a fortnight is?
it's 2 weeks.
Thank you. Listen, Antler's smart. Fable not smart.
No, no, I get you. No, Xana's saying that we need to play a big battle royale game in order for the potion to reach full potency. um, but so
Alright.
as yeah, so basically this the potion you guys have done the preparing of the ingredients, and according to the instructions for this sort of potential enchantment breaking potion, or um whatever the hell it is. We never agreed because what is magic brains? Um uh
What is magic in D&D? What is it? What is
how
potion making in D&D?
how am do.
Ham
Um
do.
but yeah, so the instructions say, like, for full potency, basically these ingredients need to pretty much marinate in what has been made thus far for maximum potency in order to be ready for the next steps. Um and then goes, I it is, I know, a long trek for you, but I can I can see about potentially getting you permission to use the circle in town. Um, and he murmurs to himself for a moment, then goes, "I'm sorry. If you are not able to make it down to visit again, I can probably take the next few steps on my own, but um." He sort of trails off.
Well, if you can convince the townsfolk to allow me to use the circle, I would be grateful, but worst case, I will simply take the boat again.
Well, I said it before, but I do appreciate you taking the time for this chance with me. Um,
Mm.
oh, before I go, I wanted to, and he actually holds up a figure and then um darts out of the room into where you've picked up the kitchen is. And you are left in the room with Raleigh, who, yeah, it has been a few hours and he has not stopped giving you the death glare. um,
I think that's the first time. I feel like it's the first time since they started getting started that Antler finally looks up again at Rowley and just raises an eyebrow, like, "Wow, you're still still giving him the death glare, huh?" He's not
Raleigh
surprised, but
Raleigh raises his eyebrow right back. Um, and after a minute or two, uh, Zan comes sort of bustling back in, and goes, I thought this would be good for you on the trip back to keep you busy, and um, I need to roll something real quick.
Oh no.
Hee hee
Oh
hee.
no, Yuni, don't tell me it's what I think it
Hee
is.
hee hee hee.
Oh no. Oh, folks at home, I think I know what it is.
um, and he has procured a little sort of cylinder um for you.
Oh,
um and he offers it and goes, I thought I know you don't eat or drink really, but this might keep you warm. Oh, yo, goodness, you don't actually feel heat, do you? Um
has Zan handed it over as he's talking?
he is sort of like gone in the in between of like starting to hold it out, then pulling it back, and then holding it out again.
I think Antler actually you can see it, his face isn't hidden. Antler actually looks surprised. And he himself is kind of without thinking has also like raised his hand maybe like holding it up, taking it back, and then just holding it out like
Oh, they're such dweebs. Um, finally, Zan just hands it, like puts it in Antler's hand because he's just, well, I'm I figure you'll find something with it. That there is a enchanted flask. It will keep it hot for longer. And I'm
well,
sorry.
I no, it's it's fine. You are correct. I do not eat or drink, but I'm sure that I am sure I can find some use for it. Actually I imagine. Hmm, actually, I imagine Ruby would find this more of use than I, depending if she's home when I get back.
Um, mm, then perks up and starts to ask a question, and then decides that was not the time for more prying. You're just like out the door, basically. um,
Yeah, and
uh,
Antler was kind of saying that last bit more to himself, anyway. So
sure, sure. Um, and mostly, Zan just looks kind of pleased that you took it at all. um, and he goes, well, oh shoot, hold on. And he sort of leads you towards the door and goes, he like mutters a word, and says, right, sorry, it is getting late. Shoot. Do you need an escort back down the um to town?
how likely am I to be jumped on the way back?
Oh, not terribly, I wouldn't say. It's just it is dark. The forest. We keep it fairly well trodden, but there it is easy to twist your ankle in the dark. Um you are lacking a lot of things, but I do assume you do still have feet. Um
Antler uh, uh, despite himself, snorts again. Snorts again. Yeah, yes, I do. I do possess feet.
Hmm. Um, he goes,
On the
well,
contrary to what my, on the contrary to what my design shows, yes, I do possess feet.
and Zan does give a little chuckle at that. And goes, well, it is up to you what makes the most sense, but
I think I shall be fine. Fine on my own. Besides, I do not imagine your friends here wish to keep me any more company than they already have. And he looks back behind him to where he knows Rowley.
and sure
He
enough,
knows Rowley.
we're
Yeah.
honestly at this point, Rowley is kind of giving Zan a look of like, why are you extending this? But
This I think amuses Antler a little bit.
um,
Like I think the one who is suffering from Zan's kindness most of all has been Rowley, and I think Antler is taking what petty what petty yeah, Antler's being petty. If this is the most enjoyment he can get, then he'll take it.
oh God, yeah, if he can't get fear, at least he can get annoyance.
Yeah, he he'll take it. Actually, I think he actually I think once he looks back at Rowley, he actually does quirk like the slightest of there's a bit of coyness there. Like, oh yeah, he knows you don't like him, but he's Zan's guest. So what are you gonna do about it?
um, and Zan will just give this weary smile and be like, "Oh yes, well, it's a shame. It's a shame that couldn't come closer friends." But and Rally just again he gives like not just a roll of the eyes, but just like the full roll of the head, just like um and finally Zan leads you out and down the route. I will say real quick, just make a little dexterity check for me.
There it is. I can actually add a +1 because I got Antler the primitive bracelet from Glorps, which gives me a
Yay.
+1 to his otherwise terrible dexterity. Please roll badly. Please roll badly. Please. Please. 17. No! It's dark. Can I give him disadvantage?
Sure.
I want this to happen. 9.
you know,
The 9.
you are pretty sure you know it's uh, Zan's magic has crafted these stairs pretty well. You are quite sure of your footing, and um, as you get down to the garden level and then start your way down to the floor, you're very confident, and you just completely trip and start to fall. Um, and
There was not a root there last time Antler checked.
a 12. You know, because we want this to fucking happen, that's good enough. um, as you stagger, and I'm sure you are just caught with the most frustrated moment of surprise. Um, and you will be, you know, it's not intensely high off the ground, but it is not a pleasant fall from the garden. Um, and then you feel arms wrap around you, and Zan has caught you. And as he grabs around you, and um he goes, "Oh,
Ah,
My goodness, I did try to warn you about the roots. Sorry.
no, you did warn. Ah. For the first time, Antler's he doesn't have a tongue, but he's currently staring a bit wide-eyed at Zan because, oh dear, this is close. This is very close. Oh dear. And I think Antler will attempt to try and stand up straight as quickly as possible because, oh dear.
As soon as Zan is sure that you are not going to stumble again, he readily lets go and goes, "Oh, well. Um, here, let me real quick." Again, he um rushes off and leaves like he leaves you in the garden. And you realize now that several of the Not Toons just like saw the whole thing and are watching you intently.
I'm gonna, I'm I'm gonna make a performance roll real quick.
Sure, sure.
Performance or
That's a
deception.
that's a nat one.
Antler can Antler has no darkness to hide to hide his face. There he did not mean for that to happen. He did not mean for that to happen in front of so many people who he's aware do not like him. Uh and
Oh.
he makes a point to just focus on where Zan, where did Zan go?
um you're pretty sure you're pretty sure you hear one of them, you can't tell who, you're pretty sure you heard a wolf whistle.
Oh, I'm just gonna. In that case, now I'm gonna make an intimidation check. 19. Antler looks in the direct. I imagine it's starting to get dark. So whichever wolf made that whistle now has glowing green eyes staring at them in the dark,
Oh.
very threateningly. Not happy.
You yeah, you can't see who it is. Perhaps they have shrunk further into the shadows to hide from your glare, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and after a moment, Zan comes back and pushes a small little just like patch of fabric into your hand. And he goes, since casting light may be difficult for you at in your current state, just take this and you can use it to light your way. It is, I'm sorry, only one use, but I hope you could find it useful in making sure you keep on your feet on the way back.
Ah, wait. What did Zan give him?
It you take a look at it and it is like a little just sort of patch of fabric. It is somewhat thick. It looks like, you could sort of sew it onto your clothes for a cute little accent. But I guess make a quick arcana check.
All right. 11.
11.
Dang it.
Yeah, I mean it's not terribly hard for you to get that you can sort of tell that Zan has found a way to sort of weave a spell into this fabric that will allow you to do a one-time quick cast of light.
Huh. They, Antler shouldn't be surprised, but there is a slight. He's a bit flustered, but so he doesn't think to hide. And with that four performance, that four in performance roll, uh, it's there is a bit of an impressed look
Mhm.
because I don't imagine being able to sew spells into fabric Maybe not the most difficult, but I
It
don't
is,
think it's I don't imagine it's easy.
no, it is generally something where, clothes with magic woven in, they do not come cheap, and it is probably what's most surprising is the fact that he's just giving it to you.
Yeah, and that like he has the he has the tea. He has now has the cloth of light. He looks at both of these things, looks at Zan, and goes, "Hmm. One moment. 4. Antler. He's gonna put the tea first. He's gonna put the tea into his hammer space. He'll keep the cloth out. He puts that in, and then he rummages into his sleeve a bit more before he pulls out a small. He pulls out a small red jewel. A rather small looking one, and holds it out to
uh, then sort of blinks in surprise and takes it.
in case in case the in case the potion isn't enough. Perhaps this could provide some boost to the cauldron.
Uh,
Roll Arcana.
yeah, I was just about to ask. 23.
23. 23. Dang. Well, I mean, San, you're a wizard. You're not unfamiliar with magically empowered objects. Uh, though usually, you know how a lot of like magical items they're sewn with magic or they're embedded with magic through different kinds of gems or whatnot. Uh, and Antler has just handed you a you're not quite sure of what kind of magic, actually, if any kind of magic at all, but definitely, how to describe it? There's a lot of magic packed into this small gem that looks like it could be quite a power booster, essentially, to magic.
Huh. And Zan is quite startled and goes, yes, this could be a huge help. Thank you. I will make sure to use it well.
Best not to put it on any. Best not to best not to adorn it onto anything that you would wear, because then it may try and possess you. Fair warning.
Noted. I will keep that in mind.
It should be fine. It came in a set, and I imagine without the other two, it won't be able to do any harm. But the
Uh,
magic, but the magic inside or at the very, should possibly provide some assistance needed.
Xander sort of gives you a look of just like, hmm. Just,
Antler
huh.
does not have Antler does not have eyes, but Zan, you get the impression that this skeleton is averting his gaze slightly.
Um, then goes, very well. Um, well, I would say,
Until
um,
mm,
I think today has been a good start. Thank you again.
yes. Mm. Until next time, Mr. Adu.
Until next time.
Mm. And I think Antler will start turning away and I can't imagine how he would cast the spell with the cloth. I kind of imagine he kind of just flourishes it in the air a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to cast the spell. Uh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and just gives Zan a nod before starting to walk back down the trail.
Mm. And Zan will stay and, like, on the path, just sort of waving and making sure you get down safely until you're far enough down that you go around a bend and can't see him anymore. Um and uh of course, also less immediately visible and less waving you away is Rally, who leads over to Zan and hisses, "I cannot believe how dumb you are."
Rally, be nice.
And Zan goes, "No, no, me either." And Riley just sighs, and Zan gives him a sort of clap on the back, and they head back home. And I think that's where we end.
God. Yeah, that was. God, I just kind of imagine a post credit scene of Antler on the. I don't imagine word reached the town yet for him to use the circle, so I imagine he's gotten on a boat again to head back to Little Corner.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think he's standing on the deck at the edge of the boat, looking back towards to
Cinema.
cinema. Thank you. It's on the tip of my tongue. I knew it started with an S.
Hmm.
He's looking back at it, and he's still holding the. Well, I imagine the magic has been used up. He's still holding the cloth that Zan has given him,
Aw.
and he's thinking, just thinking. And yeah, ah man, that was
Oh,
fun.
that was extremely fun, and I care them.
I care. They're just good old men. Or
They
well, no, well, one of them's good. The other's just stinky.
a good old man and an old man who is also here.
Yeah.
But with that, I we will stop the recording. Thank you so much for listening to us being nerds about these old nerds.
Thank you, guys. We hope to see you next time.